I think Australia is fucking obsessed with following laws and coming up with regulations that puts people on edge and too afraid to do anything because it's illegal.
Just what the f*** do you think you're doing?
I was just going to nail a hole into the wall to hang a picture up.
Do you own this property?
No.
Do you need owner and local development approval, mate? Do you have that?
Who are you? How'd you get in my house?
Also, mate, it's illegal for you to own and operate machinery like that without a license. Are you a qualified nail hammerer?
Mate, this is a bit excessive, don't you think? I'm just hanging a picture
Yeah,
up.
right. And what width and depth is the hole going to be? How are we to know this is any different to a typical construction nail?
I'm not sure yet.
Well, what's it say on your license?
I don't have one.
Right, well, just who is that hammer registered to then if you don't have a license to operate one?
What? It's not registered to anyone. It's bought from Bunnings.
We have a 1045 unregistered nail hammer with a 1072 unregistered hammer with a potential 272 unapproved development.
What is going on?
Mate, this is Australia, and if there's anything Australia's about, it's strict adherence to unnecessary laws and pretending to be laid back. I'm gonna have to fine you. Could you idiots keep it down? All this noise is past the acceptable neighbourhood noise decibel level, which I'll have you know means that you guys could be eligible for up to 2 years in prison. Sorry, mate.
In Australia, you just got to, this is a country all about having fun and drinking beers and winning at the pokies and surfboarding, and if you're not down with that, fuck you. In all seriousness, it is fucking awesome day drinking and playing the pokies. I don't advocate for that often, but I mean, if you're looking for a way to kill an afternoon, I've had many a good time. Anyway, dude, as fun as all that shit is, there is something really weird about this country. Australia is all about having a good time and being laid back and a chill bloke, but deep down in Australian culture, there's something called the nanny state, which is very not shaka and is actually stopping us from literally having a good time anytime at all. I think Australia is fucking obsessed with following laws and coming up with regulations that puts people on edge and too afraid to do anything because it's illegal. In this video, I'm going to give you 10 examples of how Australia is a fucked up nanny state where it's actually illegal to have fun and not a laid back place at all. Number 1. The first example, and this one's a bit of a niche one, but I just think it's absolutely insane that during the big scary thing that happened in 2020, the South Australian government made it illegal to dance longer than most countries did in the whole world, and certainly longer than anywhere else in all of Australia, but it still happened in Australia, so this gets number 1 for me. It made me leave Adelaide, and it was fucking crazy. Another weird thing that South Australia has that I think just really epitomizes it being a bit of a police state. Electric skateboards are illegal to use on public roads, and the reason for that is because they fail to meet the registration requirements to be a vehicle driven on public roads. So if you have an electric skateboard in South Australia, you have to Tony Hawk it the fuck up and 920 fucking flip it in inside kick flip, two-tail nollie grind 180 in the safety of your own home or perhaps backyard. I just think that is fucking dumb and the epitome of South Australia being a nanny police state. The next one I'm kind of on the fence about, and you probably are too, but basically the Australian government got to the point with Johnny Depp where they were going to euthanize 2 of his dogs, and I'm not talking about his feet, but he should put them away. But seriously, there was some sort of disagreement with the Australian government with why he was allowed to bring dogs in and the paperwork that he filled out and biosecurity laws and violating it. And Australia takes that stuff very seriously because I don't know if you know this, but we're a giant fucking island. And so we get to control what goes in and out. And it's also why cocaine is so expensive. Fuck my life. And I just think this was such a funny scandal where it was just like, we're going to fucking kill your dogs, dude. And he was like, can you chill the fuck out? I was like, nah, fuck you. You think you're better than us because you're a slave? I'm going to kill your fucking dogs. Which was kind of a weird fight. It was like a fight that like your neighbor would have with on a rural property with like another family. It's just, you're not meant to threaten to kill someone's dogs unless you really like own land, you know? But I guess if you're in Australian government, you do own quite a lot of land. So next one on the list is kind of similar to the dancing ban, and it's absolutely going to be one of the most destructive and restrictive thing that's ever happened to Australia's nightlife of all time. And I, of course, am talking about Sydney's lockout laws. Now, this had flow-on effects to other states and territories outside of Sydney. I know that South Australia was affected by this as well, and I think a few others as well. And it led to lockout laws between anywhere from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. Meaning, regardless of where you're up to in your night and partying and session, being like, oh, such a laid back country, just like come out, drink 10,000 beers. It would be like, oh, is it 1 a.m.? Stop! You violated the law. No, it would be like, okay, you can't go in any new venue now. So the venue you're at, you have to stay at, and if you want to go to a new bar, too bad. It's past 1 a.m., you can't get in. This was done to curb violence, but I think it just made a lot more violence happening in my fucking brain mind thing. It decimated Sydney's nightlife and it fucked up a lot of people in Adelaide who just wanted to have a good time as well. The next one's mandatory helmets for cyclists in Australia. Now, this one's not very controversial. If you're going to ride a bike, you should wear a helmet. I don't always do, but I think that's kind of a dumb choice, and I know that deep down every time I do it. However, it's kind of weird that you are going to get massive fines in this country for not doing it. Like, it should be a safety thing where it's like, hey, it's probably a good idea for you to wear a helmet, but in Australia, we go fucking crazy with it, and you can get serious fines if you don't wear a bicycle helmet. Just not chill and very laid back at all. Speaking of chill and laid back, what are the most chillest and laid back things you can do? Fucking smoke cigarettes and drink beers, right? I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes, but if I wanted to in this country, it would cost me an arm and a leg. It's like literally some of the highest taxes in the world for alcohol and cigarettes in Australia, and it's on purpose. It's trying to drive people away from these things because they're a public health thing. Once again, it's an example of Australia being like, we don't actually trust you to make decisions for yourself, you're a dumb idiot. So we're going to make the decision for you, when it should just be up to people, I think. And I don't know, man, it's just not a very laid back and chill thing to do. Like, one of the number one highlights for a lot of Australians when they go overseas is being able to get alcohol or cigarettes for like a few dollars compared to $50 bazillion when you're in Australia. Next on the list is one of my favorite activities after I have consumed enough alcohol, regardless of the price, whether it's $50 bazillion a litre or two, and that is swearing in public. Fuck! In Australia, in some places, it is illegal to swear in public, and they tried to bring in fines for it in Sydney, then realized how fucking dumb that is. Looks like they went ahead with it anyway, and it is still illegal and punishable by a fine for swearing in public. Next on the list is just the amount of licensing and paperwork it's required to do anything in this country.
So you're qualified now, hammerer?
Mate, this is a bit excessive, don't you think? I'm just hanging a picture
Yeah,
up.
right. And
Whether it's to own a paintball gun, you have to apply for a license. If you want to fish in freshwater, well, you have to apply for a license. If you want to drive a boat, you need a boat license. If you want to sell lemonade or on a stand in the street, well, guess what? You need a license to do that. Fireworks, those are illegal without a license. Even a metal detector on public land, that needs a license. In some states, collecting rainwater on your own property needs a license, and cutting a tree down on your own property needs a license. I just think it's fucking crazy how many things in this country need a license and how arbitrarily difficult it is to get said license. Last on the list, if you've got a license, is how fucking expensive it is to operate and own a motor vehicle. And if you do go over the speed limit, you will get hit with a fine that is fucking astronomical. Now, Australia doesn't have the highest proportionate to their population speeding fines or red camera fines or traffic light fines, but I just think there is quite a lot of it in Australia, and it's not a chilled and laid back thing to do. So there you have it. There's 10 examples of how it's absolutely fucking illegal to have fun in Australia and why it's actually not a laid back, chill place to live. But regardless, I hope you're getting after it. I hope you're winning big on the pokes, and I hope you're drinking lots of things and touching lots of blokes. Have a good one. Love yous and see yous next time.